have you ever been to Britain before or the UK?
I have. I went to Legoland, so how about you?
Oh,
I doubt Legoland's gonna appear on this list.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Legoland is a disturbing small town hiding pure evil.
But stay tuned to find out what R is. Starting off our list today, we have Beachy Head, located in Eastbourne, UK, and home to the Beachy Head Cliff, aka the highest chalksea cliff in Britain, standing at 162 meters, 530 feet above sea level. The area is beautiful, but it hides an incredibly dark secret. Since 1965, at least 500 people have died at the cliffs. One notable death would have to be that of Jessie Earl, who was found in 1983 at the base of the cliffs 9 years after she disappeared. While many deaths that have occurred at Beachy Head relate to either accident or intentional self-inflicted harm, this particular death was ruled as a killing, as clear signs of foul play were more than evident. Jessie's assailant remains a mystery, but her parents strongly believe that her death was orchestrated by Peter Tobin, a serial killer who had lived in the area at the time of Jessie's disappearance. Due to lack of evidence and the level of decomposition on the body and lack of DNA, police were never able to link Tobin to the crime, but considering the fact that Tobin was a diagnosed psychopath who enjoyed violating and ending the lives of young women and who claims to have taken the lives of over 48 women, I'd say there's a high possibility that he was in fact the culprit in this particular situation too.
Next up on our list today, we have Mullenakill in Northern Ireland. I'm sorry, I probably absolutely butchered that. Northern Ireland is full of ancient legends and superstitions, but the small village of Mullenakill is home to one of my personal favorite spooky tales, the Headless Horse. Not the Headless Horseman, the Headless Horse. This story starts off during the period of the Napoleonic Wars, so between 1803 and 1815. During this time, Sir William Verner, who hailed from Mullenakill and was a soldier, headed off to fight in the battle, and when he left, he brought with him his favorite horse, Constantine. Sadly, during the battle, Constantine the horse lost his head. That would be absolutely devastating to witness, and that is exactly how Sir William felt. Of course, his trusted steed deserved a proper send-off, so William brought the body back home with him to lay the horse to rest, and as they say, well, the rest is history. Hundreds of years later, locals report the sound of ghostly hooves echoing throughout the village and surrounding area at night, said to be the ghost of Constantine still riding through the village.
Next up, we have the underside of Buckinghamshire, England, or more like underground, I guess. You see, in Buckinghamshire, if you look hard enough, you will find an old, unassuming church accompanied by a mausoleum, surrounded by fields of lush green grass. But if you look even harder, you will find that beneath that church lies a series of underground tunnels and chambers that once belonged to the Hellfire Club. No, not the group from Stranger Things, but a secret society created by the Duke of Wharton in 1718. By the 1750s, however, there was a new main man in town by the name of Sir Francis Dashwood, and he founded his very own Hellfire Club and built the tunnels as a secret meeting place for its members. So what went on below the earth of the countryside? No one exactly knows. It's a secret club, obviously, and all the records of the club were actually burned when the secretary died. But it is believed, and it has been speculated, that the tunnels were used for various debaucherous activities such as sex parties, pagan rituals, satanic worship, and even human sacrifice. If you go down there, let me know if it's haunted, if you find any sigils. Just let me know in the comments if you've been.
Next on our list today, we have Stirling, Scotland. Stirling is a beautiful market town located in central Scotland that is surrounded by incredible farmland, and while it is filled with amazing tales from history, it is also full of creepy tales of ghostly hauntings as well. You cannot visit Stirling without seeing the incredible Stirling Castle, which sits right on top of a hill, and it is here that we start our ghostly tour. The castle is said to be the home of many ghosts, the most famous of which is likely the Green Lady, who is said to have lost her life while saving Mary Queen of Scots from a fire. Others say that Queen Mary herself haunts the castle and can be seen wandering the grounds while wearing a pink dress. It's so weird how like women ghosts, they're always like, it's the white lady, it's the green lady, it's the pink lady. I don't know why, it's just weird. Anyways, that was just me noticing that. Aside from the castle, there are more haunting tales that come from a more unlikely place. The Darnley Coffee House on Bow Street. This place is said to be haunted by quite a mischievous ghost, which sounds like, I don't know, a bit of a nightmare, especially if you're trying to run a small business. There's also a ghost that is said to still linger at the Old Town Jail, and he is said to be the earthbound spirit of the last man executed for his crimes at the site. It's safe to say that Stirling is full of beautiful places, creepy tales, and a ton of fascinating history.
Next on our list, we have Pendle Village, located in Lancashire. Way back in the 1700s, under the rule of King James, Britain was particularly opposed to the idea of witches, witchcraft, and women with an education. Anyways, the small village of Pendle gained notoriety as a hotspot for witches in 1612 after a young woman named Alison, not Allison, that's Alizon with a Z, Device, had placed a curse on a traveling salesman. Alison had been begging on the side of the road when the salesman passed by. She asked him for some pins for whatever reason, but he refused. And so she cursed him, and he immediately became paralyzed and fell onto the ground. Okay, so I know usually these stories are like, she can do math, burn her, she's a witch, but like this kind of sounds pretty legit. Anyways, she was arrested, along with 9 others accused of practicing witchcraft. In August, all 10 of them were taken to the gallows, and among them were Alison, a woman named Alice Nutter, 5 other young women, 2 men, and 1 elderly woman in her 80s.
Coming up next, we have St. Osyth, which is located in Essex. This small Essex village has quite a disturbing history, beginning with the story of Princess Osyth herself. Princess Osyth was the daughter of a Mercian king and was said to have been raised in a nunnery. She later became an abbess and founded a convent in what is now St. Osyth, Essex. According to legend, Osyth was martyred by Danish invaders who took her head. I guess that's a theme with me today, which is kind of a little unsettling. This legend states that after this event, she picked up her head and walked to the door of the nunnery, where she finally collapsed and died. Pretty badass, and that is exactly what led to the creepy tales of today. It is said that the ghost of Princess Osyth wanders the grounds of St. Osyth Priory, the site where her convent once stood. Her apparition is typically described as carrying her head under her arm, reliving the moment of her martyrdom in perpetual haunting. There is also a holy well in St. Osyth said to have sprung up where she fell after her execution. The well became a pilgrimage site, and it's believed to have healing properties. Some local lore suggests that the area around the well is also haunted by Osyth's spirit, who continues to guard the waters. This is only the beginning, somehow, of the horrifying tales though, as later in the 16th and 17th centuries, this place was the site of witch trials, where many women were convicted and executed on the grounds of being accused of being witches. You know, could do like 4 + 4 and suddenly you're a witch. One final thing I'll say about St. Osyth is that this site is also said to contain Britain's most haunted home, known as the Cage. This house has seen many owners over the years, none of which have stayed long before being driven out of the house by a very violent presence. They should put that thing on Airbnb and just see what happens. I'd stay there, why not? One night? What are you gonna do, ghosty?
Next up, we have Wigginton, Staffordshire. Honestly, the names of these towns are pure gold. What goes on in them? Not so much. This particular town is home to a particularly gruesome killing that took place in June 1972. One evening, a young woman by the name of Judith Roberts decided to go for a bike ride. She said goodbye to her mother, headed out the front door, hopped on her little green bicycle, and made her way down a quiet country lane. She was never seen alive again. Sometime after she set out on her bike ride, she was snatched and killed by blunt force. Her body was hidden in a field. There was a soldier living in the town at the time of Judith's death, Andrew Evans, who had been obsessed with the young woman. In fact, he even admitted to having vivid dreams about ending her life. And after she died, Evans went to the police station to request photos of the crime scene, and he ended up confessing to being the killer. But But he later withdrew his statement and accused the police of using a sedative on him in order to obtain a false confession. His conviction was overturned and he received almost £1 million in compensation. For those who are not British, pounds are money. Judith's death was never solved, but some people believe she was killed by Peter Sutcliffe, aka the Yorkshire Ripper, who in 1981 received 20 life sentences for ending the lives of at least 13 separate women in the area, so not a far stretch.
Next up on our list today we have Pluckley in Kent. The village of Pluckley, which I just said, located in the county of Kent in England, is known for being one of the most haunted villages in the entire country. There are numerous ghost stories associated with the village, many of which have been passed down through generations. One of the most famous tales is that of the Screaming Woods, a dense forest area on the outskirts of the village. According to legend, the woods are haunted by the ghost of a highwayman who was caught and killed by villagers, and his screams can still be heard at night. That's absolutely chilling. Another famous ghost story involves the watercress woman. We had the green lady, the pink one, we got the watercress woman now. A ghostly figure who is said to appear near a stream in the village carrying a basket of watercress on her arm. It is believed that she lost her life in the stream while picking watercress, and her ghost has been seen by many villagers over the years. Other reported sightings include ghosts of a monk, a schoolmaster, and even a haunted pub. Despite the spooky tales, Pluckley remains a charming and picturesque village, attracting visitors from all over the world. So, visit if you dare, alright? A ghost and a pint.
Next up, Furneux Pelham in Hertfordshire. On January 7th of 2004, Robert Workman, an 83-year-old lieutenant, was killed at point blank range, you know what that means, standing in the doorway of his home. Robert was killed by Christopher Poochen, who had been hired to remove a wasp's nest from the retired lieutenant's home. But it wasn't until after Christopher was arrested for an unrelated killing that his crimes against Robert were revealed. 4 years after, in 2006, Christopher was arrested for killing a man named Fred. Fred was backpacking across Europe when he was lured into a field and killed, also at point blank range, also by Christopher, who then cut up Fred's body, placed it in trash bags, and set it on fire. While serving time for this crime, Christopher had revealed to a cellmate that he had been the one to kill Robert back in 2004. Not only that, but he had entered into a sexual relationship with Robert before doing so, and the reason he did it was because he was offered compensation for his hand in the elderly man's death. Talk about no loyalty amongst killers. He's not really a thief, so talk about it.
Finally on our list today we have Glencoe, Argyll. Glencoe is a beautiful and rugged valley located in the Argyll region of Scotland and is pretty famous for being one of the settings in the Bond film Skyfall, but it's also famous for its haunting tale. The area is steeped in history and it all starts back in 1692 with what is known as the Massacre of Glencoe. In that year, soldiers loyal to the English crown killed members of the MacDonald clan who had been hosting them as guests. It's giving Game of Thrones. It is said that the ghosts of the lost MacDonalds still haunt the valley, seeking revenge on their killers. Fair enough. Another famous tale is that of the Grey Man. Here we are again. Oh my god. According to legend, the Grey Man is a ghostly figure who is said to haunt the summits of the mountains in Glencoe. His ghostly presence has been reported by many climbers and hikers over the years. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out.
Yeah.
Would you go to any of these haunted places?
I might check it out. Maybe with a friend, probably not alone.
Some ghost equipment.
Yeah,
you never know.
Might be cool, might be a whole new video, who knows you guys. If you've been, let us know. I've been your host, Hannah Thompson.
I've been Olivia Kozlowski.
See you in the next one.
Bye.